It does.
All right.
Morning.
What's going on, fellas?
Good morning, fellas.
We're
All
already
right.
having a spirited debate.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's what
There's
happens
no
when you
debate.
get. That's
There's
what.
no
That's what
debate.
happens when you. That's what happens when you get guys together. That have known each other for
40 damn
decades.
years.
For
It's going on
decades,
40. Y'all know it's going on 40 years.
something like
Wow.
that. Yeah, time flies, man. You know.
Unfortunately, I
But
hate
yeah,
watching
man.
actors on TV because I see how old they are, and I'm like, damn it, that means I'm really getting old.
Yeah, yeah. You can correlate that to sports too, man. You can see. Look at Charles Barkley, man. I remember when Charles Barkley was a monster out there. Could jump over a building, could dribble full court, could just do anything he wanted to do out there. So, a lot of people don't remember that Barkley. But yeah, man, time has changed, man. And by the way, Bo Jackson, since we talking about college football, man, what about Bo and how great of an athlete Bo Jackson was?
Bo was awesome. I think of the greatest athlete in college football history, Herschel Walker, from the greatest school
No,
of
the greatest,
2022.
No.
the greatest college running back ever, Herschel Walker.
Wow.
Greatest college athlete, Bo Jackson.
Right.
Ooh, very
I
good.
can go with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair.
Bo knows.
I-
But yeah. Hey man, we are in triple option. All right. This is the first episode, pilot episode, college football talk. I'm gonna go around the horn here and introduce everybody. Zach, you're probably familiar with Zach from the
Columbus,
Sports
Georgia.
Brothers. Yes, sir. All right, Zach. Right below Zach, there you see is Orion. We call him O. What's going on, O?
What's going on?
All right.
Also from Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah. Yep. And the legend. OG. Coy. What's up, Coy?
What's up, brothers?
All right.
He's
All right,
from
man.
Columbus too.
Yep. It's a great dynamic here of gentlemen. So we're gonna get ready to talk about a lot of things today. We're gonna talk SEC, Big Ten, the national championship game of last season. We'll talk some Deion Sanders, some FCS. We'll give some predictions too. So buckle up. It's gonna be a spirited show. Got a lot of knowledge on here. All right, triple option. Here we go.
And we're
All
back.
righty.
Are in the building.
Yes,
right.
sir.
The intro music was produced by Terrence Jones, Jones Music Company LLC. We appreciate
Also from
Terrence,
Columbus, Georgia.
aka Keaton. That's
Yes,
right.
he is. I think one of us knows him very well on this show.
Shit, all
Yep.
of us know him very well.
Well, yeah,
We all
Right.
know him. We all know him, and he's my brother.
Yes.
All right.
Brother
So,
for real, not just brother.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, we got 3 brothers on here, 4 brothers actually on here. So we're gonna talk some college, man. So let's jump right into the first topic of this morning, and it's
Hey,
this.
before we get started, please, there, Mr. Ford, I must
Yes.
say, out of all the kind of shows and things we've done, I am maybe more excited about this than the others, in part because you three gentlemen on here, particularly Calvin and Orion, and we get to talk college football, which is my passion. So this is nice to talk football with you guys. Now, continue. Because it's about that. Like, I'm with Orion now, yes.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for this
yeah.
for a long time.
All right,
Let's get
Zach.
it, man. Let's
Way
go.
to set that
Let's
up.
go.
Way to set that up. Oh, by the way, we are on Blackjack TV, and have to throw a shout out there to blackjacktv.net. So those who are out there watching us on Blackjack TV, we appreciate you. We appreciate the Jack. Topic number 1. All right, fellas. How do you feel about the national championship game?
May I
How you
go
feel about
first?
that game? Yep. And how you feel about Alabama and Saban as well?
Woo!
Let's go.
Hey, I want to go first because I feel like I'm going to be the kind Georgia fan. And in all fairness, I didn't become a Georgia fan until 95 because before that, I was an Arkansas fan. Y'all know that very well. Everyone on my dad's side of the family is an Alabama fan. Of course, my mother's side is Arkansas. I'm the only Georgia fan. So my first take of the national championship is that the SEC is outstanding, and I discount every damn championship prior to the BCS because all them voted on championships and all this other stuff. I kind of feel like the SEC got jobbed because if you look at it, during the BCS era, which I think started in '98 with Tennessee winning the first championship, we've had 9 champions from the SEC. So out of the 32 teams that participated in the BCS era, 11 of them were SEC teams, and we won 7 straight titles. And I say we because I'm definitely an SEC guy. Then you go to the CFP era. The SEC has had a team in the CFP every year, and we made 7 of 8 national title games. I think the only one we didn't was in 2014 with Ohio State and Oregon going that year. Add to it, the SEC is 5-4 in the CFP era, I believe. 2 of those losses came to other SEC teams. And I believe we're the only conference to have 3 games that are all SEC championships. Big Ten is 2-2, Pac-10 is 0-1, and the ACC is 2-2. And right now we're on a path to 3 straight titles. So SEC is by far the best conference. And I don't know if it was that segregation, the effects of that kind of ended and we migrated back down south or whatever it is. But we have just been, the South in general, awesome in football. So I take great pride in that because I'm from the South and Georgia kid, Georgia football, just love it all the way. Now, I will speak quickly about Alabama, and then I will turn it over to the other 2 gentlemen that have much more passion for Georgia and Alabama than I do. I can't play. Alabama's great. Like, I'm not going to sit here and bash. I don't know what has been going on in the offseason. I hope you 2 can tell me that it seems like Saban has been rattled for some reason. I don't know why he would feel pressure. If Alabama fans are putting pressure on Coach Saban, they're ridiculous. He's had 2 bad seasons in Alabama. 07, I want to say first year when they went 7-6, and in 2010 when he went 10-3, and that was his bad season. Outside of that, every other year at Alabama, I want to say 13 years, they're in a title hunt. Like if you want to win the title, you have to go see Alabama. Like it ain't even though like you're going to see them if you're trying to win the title, and they're typically in it till the end of the year. And that's simply amazing. Like they are the standard of what program should be. Coach Saban and his Alabama program have been so good that they make you question how good Paul Bear Bryant and his Alabama program was. And it's probably a toss-up right now who is the better coach, but if he can get one more title, he's clearly the greatest. So glad Alabama is Alabama. It made the Georgia victory even better because my family on that side can't talk much, and they're just the standard. It would have been, I would still enjoy the title, but it's nice to be able to go out there and you get to compete against the best and see where your program is. And now Georgia knows what the standard is and what they need to do to get back there. And I'm hoping and I expect them to get back there this year. So Take it away, gentlemen. I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna just sit back and enjoy my popcorn, as T.O. would say.
I'm gonna let Corey go first. I'm gonna let you go first.
Let everybody know who your
Congratulations,
squad is too, Corey.
Alabama. Congratulations to Georgia on its national championship. Okay. And like I think I mentioned earlier, it's one of those times where you have once in a generational defense that can carry you. Like I said it again, we shall see what Georgia can do with their offense and their quarterback, specifically their quarterback. Kirby's on a high, but I'm wondering what y'all gonna say about Kirby in 2 to 3 years. Because guess what? Kirby is trying to be saving in Georgia, and that's not gonna work. He gets him one, okay, fine, but y'all might have to wait another 40 years. That's all I gotta say.
I disagree.
Hold on for a second, Calvin. I was so nice and respectful to you, and so
No.
and
No.
oh my God, Calvin.
So,
Oh, and by the way, don't forget. Let's see. Give us a little take on what you think about Saban too.
Oh, the fact that he's rattled, it's the licensing thing.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, that's probably a topic for another show. But that
Yeah.
right there has established and programs in a buzz because now you've kind of took the effect of the boosters going through the program to control everything to it's basically wide open. It's the wild wild west, and I'm sure there's going to be there's going to be something come down the pipe in the next couple of years when they really get a handle on how they want to do these deals, whether it's freezing the kids' money or some other aspect. But that's what got him. That's what's got a lot. That's what got him particularly. I would say it's just speculation, bothered because now he's gotta change his whole blueprint up.
well,
All right. Oh,
it's one thing to be rattled about the NILs. So
Mhm.
I'm in agreement there. My issue is, why is all of this talk all of a sudden when you're a perennial championship contender every year? What was so bad about losing this year that got Saban rattled? Because I've never heard him in the
Well,
offseason
for
talk
one,
about
for
to
one,
make
he's
these
lost.
make these excuses
Yeah,
about
for one,
losing.
yeah, one. It's got something to do with the fact he lost to one of his own, which he eventually. Yeah, his ego is so big that he never figured that someone from him would beat him. He
Okay,
always figured
interesting.
Kirby would go over there, Kirby have a good team, but he'll be a Mark Rick to
Well, I think we lost Cal for a second, but I will
But
kind of agree that I didn't have much faith in Kirby. I'm gonna have to apologize a little later.
okay.
yes,
But oh,
yes,
you
you
can
do.
continue on. But oh, you
But
can
yeah,
continue on with your thoughts on the championship game and Nick
yeah,
Saban and Bama.
yeah. So my issue, so I'll start with the championship game.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
I thought it was a long time coming, considering that we've been in what, three of the last four, I believe. So we were just in it 2 years ago. We should have won that one. Every time we've played Alabama, we've been in the game or leading from the last, at least, I think we've dominated pretty much every quarter, maybe except for one. And we finally completed the deal and completing a fourth quarter. You heard Saban say it himself that we dominated them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful there, but I did want to respond. Hopefully Coy comes back because I wanted to respond to the fact that I don't think this is a once in a lifetime or once in a generation trend. I think this is more to come. Not just because of the recruiting, but because again we've been there or near there every year
Mm-hmm.
since Kirby has gotten there. So I don't see it stopping now. Maybe we don't become Alabama and be in it every year, but we should be contenders every year going forward.
I mean, I do feel like you guys should dominate at least dominate the East, which would keep you in the race. Keep you in the hunt every year. So as long as you're taking care of that East, which I think you guys have the lead there, your Georgia will be in the mix.
Well,
Plus
I'm a
recruiting.
man with Orion said. We're a CFP program. Like we're a or I heard someone on the I think they said this on Dog Nation. Oh, that we are a 14, 15 game program now, which basically means you're a playoff program. Like that's
Correct.
what our season is now. We are 14, 15 game program. Anything short of the CFP for me is a disappointment. That's just the standard that we should have now. And uh doesn't mean we'll win it like Alabama does and go in that run of what 6 titles since '07, but
Right.
we should be like Clemson and or Ohio State where we're like you got to mention us when you start talking about the title.
Exactly. So my expectation for Kirby is to uh not only probably be in it. I don't know if they're gonna get back this year, but I do expect us within the next 5 years. I know that was the question Corey was asking. Well, how are we going to see Kirby in the next 3 years? Uh, be great if we could get one out of the next 3 years. We're great. I mean, if you look at the national championship coaches, what since I mean, it's Saban and with what near double digits, everybody else has what at least two or three. I think Urban Meyer is next. After
Three.
that, everybody else has two. So to to win two, you're in great company.
Yeah.
So if anything, you get to three. To me, that's the number. No one's going. I don't think anybody's going to get to seven, or because I think or eight, because I think at some point Saban is going to get to 10. So if anything, the, the if anything, we just need to fight for number two. Get to three. To me, that's Kirby's goal. Get to three.
I I could agree over under 2.5. Like
Right.
he I'm still not the fan of his like that, but he won the national championship. I have to admit that however he got it done, whatever I felt about him, and part of that was how he was hired, but he got the national championship. And Georgia believes in him because they made him the highest paid coach and gave him a 10-year deal. So I think that's all that really matters. He'll be at Georgia for 10 more years, or at least 8 more years, easily.
Right. So I mean, all you got to, and if you look at just Kirby himself as relates to Mark Rick, I mean, in 15 seasons, like I said, he's been the one, won one. All you got to do now within that next 5 years is to get one more, or even go to one more, and you've already done more than Rick has done that did in 15 years.
Well, he's won as many titles as any other coach in our program history, which would be the two other guys, Vince Dooley, and I can't remember. I think the individual, I think it was 42. So don't remember that coach's name, but he's on a good path. But as I said, Alabama's still Alabama. I don't know why Alabama fans are freaking out. They shouldn't be worried. They are, let me tell it, they should be good to go. Like I would switch places with them, even with the NIL and all this stuff going on.
Right. I understand that. Yeah, Kirby is Saban is a little rattled about the NIL because now it brings everyone into the competition. Now he can't get all of the recruits, and the ones that he didn't get, he was okay with. He was okay with losing them to Kirby because again, it's going to happen. But now that I have to split it with 5 teams, it's a little different.
That's a
3,
good
I'm
point,
okay because he's always going to be top 3 or at least top 5. I think if every year he's been there, that he's been top 5. I think so. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is now it's going to be split. That sometimes he may end up being 4 and 5 as opposed to 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
That's his problem.
But I think it like, and he may be looking at it the wrong way because if you have everybody and they all have the same talent, if I'm better at deploying that talent than you, then I'd actually take less talent on like spread out because I'm gonna scheme and strategize better. Like I like Jimbo, but Jimbo has to get it done at A&M first. Like he
Right.
needs to. He finished 5 the one year, but he needs to make a CFP. And he gets to go to Alabama this year. Like all of that stuff he talked about, as far as everything, all of that's good. Like you can call Saban despicable and all this other stuff. When you show your ass up at Alabama, look, I know what game they got circled in Tuscaloosa. I know what game. Too. I know what game Saban gonna be motivated for. And like Texas, Texas football, we're gonna go over overrated and in the big scheme of thing of all football. And I'm living here in Texas. Texas football has to be the most overrated football. Yes,
ever. Most ever.
Like in my lifetime, what do they got? The one national title with the University of Texas.
Let's stop. Let's stop with this. You technically, every time I turn around, I hear California, Florida, and Texas.
Thank you.
Right?
Right.
Point blank. California, Florida, Texas football, Friday night lights, blah, 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 blah. And you can't keep them kids, or either you can't keep them kids in state at your state school, which actually probably out it goes Alabama, Ohio State, and Texas. Those are the 3 schools that do not need conference money because they can go on their own networks and create their own networks and create.
Right.
And so it's not a money thing. It's not a money thing. I hear all the eyes of something's on Texas, right? The racist ass song. But I hear that, right?
All right.
So why can't you compete?
All Oklahoma,
Oklahoma actually, if you look at Oklahoma roster, they cut the north, they cut so deep into Texas, and they're the jewel of the conference. They're the jewel of the teams. If you had to pick, you leave Texas and get Oklahoma.
Yeah. But yeah, well, Corey, we're glad you're back too, man, because we want you to wrap the first topic up on hey, look.
Amen. Look, amen. God, spouse, you have your priorities in order.
Look, without her, we wouldn't be able to have you on this show. So, we definitely appreciate your wife giving you permission to be on here today. And,
whoa. Check.
Hey, look.
Hey, no I like how you slip that in.
Hey, no shame in that, Calvin. Don't let him go. Don't let Tyrone Don't let the single divorced Tyrone goad you. You married and got a lovely woman. Hey, whatever you got to do to keep her is totally fine.
Look. You
ain't no shame in it.
But the bottom line is that there's nothing wrong with that statement. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah.
We all have somebody to answer to somewhere.
Yes, sir.
But help us out. But help us out with the Saban talk before we get out of here. I know you was in the middle of a comment there about Kirby, I believe. So you can close this out.
Like I said, Kirby was the first to beat him. And if you really pay attention to, I caught the tail end what Zach was saying about talent or whatever, but Saban is obviously a great coach, right?
Right.
But through the history of college football, we've noticed that all the great coaches also had a ton of talent because they're great coaches. It ain't. I'm a firm believer. It's not so much as you being a great coach, because I think most coaches, when they look at the X and O's, and they should be a good enough student of a game that they can actually get. If they have the players, they can perform. The trick is when you get that that 5-star plus, and you get a pick between those 5 stars plus, and you can get to sift through which ones are actually going to be the ones, and you get first choice in them, which is what Saban has cultivated. Because we say this has been going on for decades. But remember when the shift from when the SEC went west with the first championship, when it was your boy at Fryer at Florida?
Yeah.
And we remember that Alabama team?
Yes.
That Alabama team is nothing compared to the teams that came after the national championship, that run in that national championship. Did you notice? The other Alabama teams were very good, talent laden, but they had to struggle to get to that next step. Then all of a sudden, Alabama wins national championship. Alabama follows up, and all of a sudden we're off to the races. Next thing you know, the They went from Alabama having the top 10 classes to guarantee the top 5 classes. Next thing, and there's that changed to 1 or 2, 1 or 3, Alabama, whatever. And you notice that as that happened, Alabama became the bell setter. You got to go with Alabama. That's
But
why it bothers them when when you start stealing your kids.
right, because isn't Georgia doing the same thing? Aren't we doing the same thing when we went from Mark Ritt to always being top 10
Hmm.
Mm.
to now we're consistently top 5? People
Right,
didn't
because
understand that. They say, "Oh
if
no,
you
we
can't,
we were
if you
getting talent with Mark Ritt. No, we were getting top 10 maybe,
Correct.
but now we're getting top 3. It's a little different."
Mm.
did
All
you, I
right.
mean, look at that Georgia defense, specifically the front four, right?
Right.
They went 8 deep.
How did I know Cal was going to talk about linemen? Yes, absolutely.
O
That
line,
front
D
four.
line.
Right.
It's. I mean, we can get into the simple fact that I've said this, and I always say this: you play football from the ball out. You give me an offensive and a defensive line, and mediocre to average talent on the corners. I'll make something happen. Prove me
You sound
wrong.
like Deion Sanders. No, you sound like
Agreed.
Deion Sanders. He said that. That's
It's
what he
it's a
said.
it's, it the formula goes back to it's the Bobby Bowden formula, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Everybody always said all the speed down in Florida State and Miami, right?
Hmm.
But then the coaches that knew what they knew. They said the problem ain't the speed at wide receiver, running back, and corner. The
yeah.
problem
You
is
get a ton of
we got
that.
a Bulware coming off the corner. We got a Wadsworth. We got Armstead, Rohan Martin. You got all these kids in the front 8, right? And you can't compete with them. It's hard to we can get the talent, but we can't get the big guys with the speed and the strength.
Perfect
Yeah.
example: Michigan Georgia playoff game.
Woo! Woo!
If you want to, if you
Exactly.
exactly what Coy just said, all you have to do is watch the Michigan Georgia playoff game and watch what happened up front on both sides. Did you
Yeah.
hear Aiden Hutchinson name? Did you see what a
Hey,
a
hey,
freshman?
hey, I'm
Oh,
up here. I'm
Absolutely.
up here yelling in Calvin like it's Trayvon Walker when they tried to I think they tried to pull a guard or pull a tackle on Trayvon Walker, and Trayvon Walker destroyed
right,
that guard on that.
Yep.
Like he crushed him.
right.
That's
They
like
had
All
so.
right.
they had a quarterback. They had options on the outside. They had receivers. They had DBs. But what? But those two front lines, they got manhandled.
Yep,
Yeah.
Your
absolutely.
All right.
quarterback is
Well,
under siege.
yep. So we mentioned teams just now with Florida State, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, different conferences, and there's a big deal going on in the college football landscape, and it's conference realignment. So let's talk about that now. We got a few minutes to cover that. So conference realignment. What are you guys' thoughts on conference realignment? We'll start with
They
O.
might as me honestly, they might as just go to the dang pro
We'll start with Co.
plan.
We'll start with Coy.
Yeah, I mean, because it's basically coming to this. It's basically coming to 4 divisions:
Yep.
East, West, North, South. That's what it's coming to. Because you got these super conferences. It's gonna get to the point where it's like, okay, right now you finna in the SEC is finna be the point where you're gonna have to you know how they always have the two cross rivals and plus one.
Yep.
Hmm.
Those games you're gonna basically have to cut those games out.
Right.
So it's gonna, I mean, if you're talking about you're basically killing traditional super conferences. Uh, Texas, Oklahoma, that kills that conference they leave, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Those are
conference
done.
killer.
ACC is almost dead.
Right. They're hanging on by their because they're
Mhm.
stuck into a TV deal that doesn't end until was it
All
2027?
right.
I
If
think
if it
30.
wasn't,
I think 36 actually.
oh yeah, 36.
And
Or it would be destroyed.
what's to say in 5 to 10 years that Emmert and the SEC or whomever decide to put the money up, buy them out of that conference, out of that contract, and they say, you know what, we'll take Florida State and Miami and put them in the East and realign the SEC accordingly.
Well,
That
well, real quick,
that's
it's funny
coming.
you mentioned those two teams. And that's what the ACC did, right? Back in the day, they're the ones that added Miami and Florida State, to build up their conference.
They
And
man,
so it's just kind of ironic that,
yeah, they built they
you know what I
no
mean?
they built that conference, that football conference, around two teams. That was the worst thing.
Yeah,
That was the biggest problem. They made a point of, well, we're gonna put Alabama, we're gonna put my bad, Miami and Florida State on opposite sides, and that's gonna be our conference championship every year, blah blah blah, and run it that way. How many times have y'all seen that?
I
Right.
don't think we've seen it once.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But my point was that they just brought in two football powers back in that time
No,
to
but
build up a
it's
conference, and it
just
seems like
those
that's what a
teams
lot of
fit.
conferences are doing now.
Those teams fit. Well, no, a lot of times the powerhouses are leaving, going to the SEC. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
Big Ten's trying to move accordingly, but they don't play the same. It's not the same brand. It just isn't.
But 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 Coy, would you say though that because the Big Ten now has four of the top markets, like yeah, they're not going to be able to compete on the field, but they do have now New York, California, Chicago. They
wow.
have all of the big markets.
Although, no. But you're looking at, yes, you're right. They have the most TV sets,
Yeah,
but those are also pro markets.
I that's true.
Well, the big thing for them, because I think the new deal is $1 billion a year or 1.2 billion, and I think they're going to get 80 to 100 million. Uh, if they really invest in their programs, they're going to be able to upgrade their facilities. And you would think if they start taking it serious, like we know
Whom who start
Big
taking it
Ten,
serious?
no Big
Which
Ten,
schools? Which
all
schools
of them,
start? Which
all of
ones
them.
don't take it seriously?
Do they take it seriously?
They're just not good, as good at it.
How much are they paying their coaches? Like the SEC pay their coaches a lot, and you go out there and like
The
old boy that was
SEC has the revenues to pay the coaches.
well, and they're gonna have that now too. That's what I said. Who's the coach at Auburn? Chiswick. Chiswick, the
Mhm,
one with damn Cam. Didn't
mhm.
he get fired like a year or 2 years after winning the national
Right,
title? Like they
right.
don't play the SEC. Ed Orgeron fired 2 years at like. So is
No,
the
no, no,
Big
no,
Ten
no,
gonna
no,
be
no.
like that?
Or Jerron has some other stuff going on. He had some
Why?
hula hooping. He had some hula hooping and some salute
Yeah,
going on. He
yeah,
had
but
a lot
but
going
if Saban and or Kirby probably had that stuff going on right now, I'm not sure they get fired. It
on.
may just
Have you paid attention to Orgeron and how he behaves?
I think that's why
mm,
SC got rid of him.
Yes.
that could be true.
Well,
But
There's a difference between
but
having side chicks, because you'll never know about Saban and Smart, right? And you at the dang frat party pulling your chest
well, well,
with
look,
the
fellas, we
drinks in
talk.
hand. Okay, go
But
ahead.
yeah, but
Sorry.
with this alignment, right? So it sounds like conferences. There are certain conferences looking to become like this power or mega conference, if you will, or
well, you
super
might as well just
conference.
say the
Right.
SEC and Big Ten.
Where are the all? How does this affect some other schools?
Uh,
How does this affect
it's,
other teams that are out there, other
it's going to be
programs?
the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
Where would they
Basically,
go?
go.
they won't go
Uh,
no damn where.
they're gonna. You try to maybe hold on to what's left of the Big 12, and maybe add
Hmm.
some teams from what's left of the Pac-10, and maybe that becomes your other.
Oh, okay.
Or some of these other conferences now are going to be viable. So you may what some of these other conferences they may actually have a better
Like the WAC.
yeah.
No, there's gonna be a new.
Like
There's
what
gonna be.
happens to those teams?
The truth be told, there should be another division.
I
Right.
think that's what
And
we're
that's what
gonna
I'm
get to.
calling it, and I'm calling it the others because that's
Yeah,
I don't know what to
because
call it right now, but
it's
right now
right,
it's
because you have the SEC and you have the SS, the bowl code, the shit. What do they call themselves now?
I think it's what
The big boys. The big boys.
what is it?
uh
Football is
The
it
FBS or something?
subdivision?
yeah, whatever they call themselves now, because it's no longer
I just
the
got that's why I say I just go 1A and 1AA. But you probably
Right.
I'm with
So
you. You'll have a 1A, double
have
A, and a triple
you're
A.
gonna literally have a tier, because it's almost to the point where this new alignment It's like almost if these conferences are trying to set themselves up to rival any other question about a pro league. They're not there to push against NFL, but they're there
Mm,
to buffer themselves between these new startup leagues and stuff. Because with all the talk of UFSFL and all the other ones coming along, the NFL has a gentleman's agreement with NCAA, and then it works well for both parties, right?
Yes, it does.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
They don't want what they don't want because, like, I always remember when people say anybody can own an NBA team as long as you had enough money, right? Not everybody's allowed to own an NFL team,
That would be correct.
right?
That would be correct.
And so so their rules are in a whole nother world of tradition that we all don't jive with, but it is what it is, right? So they like
Agreed.
their farm system the way it is. The NBA allowed their farm system to be destroyed. Let's be honest. College basketball is just something. You know what I mean? Even in once upon a time, we forget even the Euros had to funnel themselves through the schools in the states at one point. Not anymore. So
Yeah. All
I
right.
Yeah.
Any more
see.
comments?
Well,
Any
what do
more
you see?
comments on the alignment?
Well,
What do you
like I
see?
said,
Four big conferences.
yeah, I see four big conferences. Like I said, I see the big the SEC, the Big Ten. The ACC is still holding on only because they have that Notre Dame carrot that they can throw out there.
And see,
Uh,
I see getting cut like you take. I see they're only gonna be a name. I see the SEC quote unquote is basically the lower 13, right?
mhm,
And then you take the ACC cuts off at the Maryland borderline and go northeast and early Midwest to Notre Dame.
mhm,
And then you have a conference that comes from Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, that block, and then
mhm.
everybody else goes in the far west conference with California, Washington, whatever. And there you have it.
Yeah, and
All right.
it's gonna be regional. You make it
Hmm.
regional, and like I said, though they will be able to unless we have unless we get to a 12 team, it will be the top two pretty much every year, and they'll throw in a wild card.
Well,
So just think about it like the NFL. We'll get a wild card in there like a Cincinnati did this year. You may get Utah this year, but it'll be the same. It'll be the same one, same four,
well,
or
I think we're
same.
gonna get to 16. Like
Uh,
the TVs will get it to 16.
TJ, I got a side note right quick.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all see what happened to Thompson when they played Grayson High School? I'm just asking. The
Well, I
Alabama
didn't
High
get.
School. Oh, it was ugly. But anyway, moving along. You come to Georgia if you want to. Talk about you got the best ball in the country. That's all I'm gonna say.
I heard that. I heard that. All right.
I'm not gonna
Let's
disagree.
all right, guys. We have two more topics for the first hour here, so we're doing great. We got 20 minutes here, so we can split this up into tens. The football, what is it? Football FCS, right? That division, football championship subdivision. Okay,
One double
it's,
A.
it's a little early. Hey, I'm tongue tied early.
I'm just
Get
saying,
some
one
more Joe.
double A. Don't
Get some more
hurt
Joe
yourself
in.
about it. But
Get
football
some more Joe
championship
in.
subdivision.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's talk
But
about
that's
it.
it. One double A
All
sound.
right. Let's throw it
Yes,
out
sir.
there. This is one of personally, it's one of my favorite areas. I'll let you guys
Hold on,
deal with
hold
the.
on. Is it your favorite area because of HBCUs, or is it your favorite area
Well,
because of overall?
well,
There's two
well.
different
If you look,
subjects.
but Zach, I mean, yeah, but think about it like this, Corey. How many
Thank you.
Seahawks fans did you? How many Seahawks fans you know
I do
growing
look
up?
a little. Oh,
How many
One,
Seahawks fans you knew growing up?
one.
Okay, so I'm outside. I'm outside the box, man.
ain't that the
You know,
truth?
how many kids in high school you saw with a New York Mets jacket? So that's where I'm
A
at,
whole
man.
bunch.
But so
That was gang related.
it wasn't none of you guys.
Oh,
You guys are Braves fans.
sorry. I thought it's
But
because they like Goodness Strawberry.
Uh,
I
But
saw him
yeah,
every day getting on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. But no, the FCS conference. I like this. I like well back then. I mean, they still do it, but they had a tournament. And I always, back when in the levels that we was talking about earlier with the Georgias and Bamas and all that, it wasn't a playoff. We know there was once upon a time not any type of playoffs, and but they, that level plays a tournament. They do things like that. Now they may not be getting the upper echelon of talent, if you will, but that's football for me. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys like to, break down the big boys and you do all that, but I got my own little niche as far as what I like to watch too. Doesn't mean I don't watch anything else, but I think that we need to educate people a little bit on the FCS and just give some love there too. And it doesn't
No
mean it's
doubt.
just Jackson State, and it doesn't mean it's just teams like like that. We have North Dakota State, who's been a power,
Uh,
who's been putting
okay.
players into the NFL, and so I want
Okay.
if he doesn't mind, to kind of kick it off with the FCS
Okay.
and some of his thoughts on it.
Hey, impress me,
Okay.
Orion, about your FCS knowledge.
Come on,
Okay. Um. So what I've come to learn is that the FCS, it looks like North Dakota State is the Alabama of the FCS,
Yep.
and James
For now,
Madison
yes.
and James Madison is Georgia, or
And don't
whoever
forget
you
about North Dakota State, because some South Dakota
what
State,
it,
which one of the Dakotas?
yeah, but
Yeah.
now South Dakota State, it used to be them versus North Dakota State, but James
Mhm.
Madison lately has, and they were always in the top four, but lately they've
Yeah.
been two to North Dakota State these last, I say last 3-4 years. So if you want to say that they dominate, I mean, I like the feels that the FCS teams have. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to go there, but I just I'm just not excited about teams in North Dakota and Iowa playing in snow and red fields. Uh,
Be honest, Orion.
just
Be
doesn't
honest about it. It's the get. I mean, it's all football, but it's gimmick. They run gimmick offenses.
that too. I was gonna get to that point too. They do want to gimmick offenses. They end up getting players in the NFL that plays one great game that we'll see on ESPN after we've done with the big boys. Then we have to watch these little games that come on CBS at 3 o'clock 2 months after we've already done with college football. So yes, the FCS is a great uh, dessert. I wouldn't even say dessert. They are a great snack if you want to talk about college football. But we can get into
Yeah.
more HBCU if anything. But I was interested. I was trying to see with the conferences. I think it was the Big South that has majority of. I think that's where everyone is now going to. Right, that's the conference.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the MEAC,
Yep.
of course, you have the MEAC and the SWAC, but I think that's where everyone is going. Some
Right.
of the HBCUs when they go up, they're going to the Big South because I think that's where Kennesaw is. I think
Hmm.
that's Hampton. I think that's North Carolina A&T. So it seems to
Yeah.
be that's the conference that everyone is looking at to see who is going to be, because I think North Carolina A&T will rebound, and I think they're the favorite to win that conference,
Yeah.
along with Kennesaw State. So that's kind of my take. That's all I got.
No, that's plenty, man. And yeah, I think North Dakota State. A lot of people will say, "Would you take North Dakota? Would you take North Dakota State to win the national championship at that level or the field?" And I would go with North Dakota State. They have a lot of pro prospects on that team. Their stadium holds about 19,000. It's a is as you stated. Like I think that was a great analogy. It's the Alabama of that level, and it's going to be a while before a program can dethrone them, in my opinion, because of what they already have established. They kind of have the machine going right now. But Jackson State is a team that, because of Deion Sanders, right, his influence and everything, they're looking to head in that direction. But actually, they're still miles away from catching the North Dakota State. But they are, getting top tier recruits. They're bringing in. They brought in Mike Zimmer now as an
And they're
analyst,
getting top tier coaching.
and yes, the coaching staff. Yeah, you're bringing in NFL coaches. Yeah.
Right.
And
That's
it's
that's what I was about to say. The coaches seem to be moving there, and of course with these NILs and transfers,
Yeah.
um, I think HBCUs now will be uh, a better product. I just hope that it's just not a trend that we're going to get for just a couple years and then it go back to the status quo.
we'll
Right.
Uh,
see.
would
I
this be
don't
long term? Is this long term, or is this because we're, everyone wants to be pro black and let's go HBCU now because it's a part of the uh,
Hmm.
Me Too. I'm not Me Too move, but the Black Lives Matter
social justice. Yeah, what?
sports edition. Is this the Black Lives Matter movement sports edition? I mean, because is this going to be long term, or are they really truly doing this because they really want to see
And
this
see,
level expand?
yeah,
Yeah.
my crux of the issue on some levels is this: are they why? Okay, you got the spotlight because you got Dion and you got some other names and you got your boy Grambling. You got all these people coming in, right?
Mhm.
That's kind of created some spotlight. The first plan you give me is in 4 or 5 years we're trying to move up to this conference, meaning you're going to leave the rest of these schools behind.
Mhm.
As we have. Why are you selling tradition? Why not try to why not try to make some inroads in your conference, make some deals, make some branding, make some a lot of other stuff going on that you can and then and work and get the coaches because that's basically because right now you can pick coaches, you can get them in.
Hmm.
All the guys that let's be honest that have issues on the other level, specifically pro, they're popping up in HBCUs right now,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
That's a
Herm
good
Edwards,
poach.
Herm Edwards,
And
he about to get ready to go. He needs to go ahead and pick a team because he won't be at ASU,
no, you know,
Arizona State, but one more year.
exactly. Exactly. So
That'd
why
be a
not
good.
get?
That'd
Why
be a
not?
good addition.
He's a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
He's not a
Yeah.
recruiter. That's the problem is probably
Hmm.
on the side effect is when Dion is a recruiter because Dion's a preach. Well, he's a salesman, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
him
Very good at
Dion
it.
recruits himself. That's the trick that people haven't added to Jacksonville State. Eddie George at Tennessee State, like I said, Eddie George is kind of a stiff. He's kind of a yeah. So you need somebody to recruit. You're gonna
Yes.
if they can get the used car salesmen in there,
Yeah.
they'll be fine. Dion had to be a used car salesman that's a hell of a student of the game.
Hmm.
Because if you really, I mean, anybody, if you get out of all the other stuff and listen to Dion talk football, it's something to hear. We
Oh,
can never doubt
absolutely.
that part. There's no doubt. So if these other HBCUs can get those type of minds with a face man up there,
Hmm.
it's going to be just fine.
Michael
Because
Irvin, he would be a salesman. Like Michael
Yeah.
Irvin has a large
hold on, hold
personality.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Mike Irvin is also a loose cannon.
I'm just saying.
Not in the wild wild Mike Irvin, but do you really you just Mike Irvin's been doing good for the last so many years. But I still, me personally, would not trust him as my face yet.
If you're someplace, and I know Alabama State already has a good coach, but give me well, I'll go with my family's
Send
school,
him the peer review.
University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Uh,
Yeah.
he wouldn't do no harm there. He would only like whatever harm he would do, he'd probably do more good.
Uh,
No, send him the peer review.
yeah.
Well,
But even
Prairie View's a
wh-
is that's a gold mine over there too. A Prairie View.
yeah. What? Well,
Yes, I
yeah.
know this. I
Yeah.
know this.
Hey,
Yeah,
don't be hating on the golden lions. We could use a face. We want to get in this
he's
too.
good. Hey, look, you can get Ed Reed too. Hey, Ed Reed. I think the key too is like what you mentioned about Dion, his influence. Eddie George was the the athletic director at Tennessee State reached out to Eddie George, and Eddie George was like, he wasn't even sure he wanted to really even take this. He didn't no head coaching experience, things like that. I don't think he even said he coached, but he talked with Dion, and Dion was like, "Man, you got to do this," and he helped encourage Eddie George to get in there. So, and now you have Tennessee. Well, Tennessee State is playing Notre Dame this year. I mean, that's huge. You know, they have a lot of facility
Tyrone.
upgrades.
So
They have a
so
lot of.
let me let you hear this
Uh,
how I heard this. Dion talked
yeah,
to a dude that says, I'm not even a coach. Right?
yeah,
Right. Okay. You agree,
yeah,
right? So you gonna
yeah.
so I'm gonna send this dude that's not even a coach. He knows football, but he's not a coach. So there's a difference between coaching and being knowing
Okay,
football. So I'm
Very
gonna
that's
true.
send you to
true.
Tennessee State, which makes you my rival, but you ain't no coach.
But
Right.
that's true. But we just talked about
But
you need faces. But he played at an elite level. He played at the NFL. He played elite level. He was a Heisman winner, trophy winner. It's not like he doesn't understand the game. He hasn't been
Tyrone,
coached. Well, hold on, Corey, because he's been coached by Fisher, right? A
Tyrone,
professional. He has NFL
can I?
experience.
I want you to do one thing. Name the top 5 coaches in your opinion that are around NFL or college right now.
I'll do that later. I'll put it on the site because we're
Well,
running out of
I
No, I don't
time.
want you. Okay,
But
well, I
well,
my
think
okay.
but my
No,
point
okay. Then
is
I answer this question:
he
how many of
well
those
well
coaches were elite athletes?
well okay, Corey. But let me get to my point first. Is that Eddie George? He's making inroads at Tennessee State, even if it's off of his cachet, and he's bringing in people who are NFL coaches as well to his staff. So you don't necessarily have to be to be a quality head coach. You need to flank yourself with quality staff, just like this show right here. You
well, I
got
can
quality
well,
All right,
I can see
oh,
what he's saying, Cal.
okay,
Like
Jack and
he's
all.
going with
Okay,
the catch
TJ,
22.
build
TJ,
and
Mr. 411. I take your
so
point, but I'm gonna ask the other two brothers a question.
yeah,
Orion and Zach,
yeah.
have y'all watched the press conference with Eddie George?
I watched, I think, the
Only some
introductory
highlights.
one. I watched that introductory one.
How do you feel about it? Were you ready to just go play for this man?
No, I was still
Well,
wondering. I was wondering how he even got the job. I mean,
well,
it looked
I mean,
lost.
I understand what you're saying. See, we can't just go get anybody for these jobs. I have nothing against Eddie George. He may be doing fine, but what I'm saying is you got to get that guy that's going to bring people. That's going to bring people with their wallets.
Right, and if
That,
he
that
wanted,
there's
But
the guy that you can go out with that you don't mind buying that man a drink. Eddie George is like he's a nice fella, but ain't for buy him a drink.
yeah, but that's what
He
I'm,
got money.
and see, that's my point. Like, why are we using these schools, those schools? Like I said, if you really want to make this jump, like, give me, like I said, Dion, great, but we don't even hear about some of the ones that really like the South Carolina states and all of those. They don't really have a big name coach that you know about.
They have big name programs, and
Yeah,
honestly,
but they got
well,
the
to be
big
actually,
fair,
name program.
Eddie George actually went to one. Jackson State has never been considered the big program.
Right, right.
Tennessee State is used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, South Carolina State,
Yep.
yep,
Grambling,
Yep.
Southern,
most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
FAM,
Yep.
yeah.
Hampton.
Yep.
It's one more. Not A. Is it A&T?
Where what?
What's it?
Yeah. Well, you could either say A&T or Prairie View because at one point
Yeah.
those were the two, or Alcorn State.
Alcorn? That's the other one.
That's the
Those
other
are
one.
the elite. Those are the elite programs. So, man, if honestly, if anybody gets to those schools, all they got to do is they're everything's handed to them. All they gotta do is uplift the program. I mean, yes, it's a rise, but it's uplift the program and get it moving forward. The fact that Dion went to Jacksonville is commendable. There's also a reason why he went to Jacksonville because it was one of the programs that didn't have a tradition. So they have a tradition, but you know what I mean.
Well,
It's
they
not a
yeah
perennial power.
Yeah.
they have one
They,
and they have a big fan base too. They
well,
have a
yeah,
They
big
because
do.
they
fan
know
base
they're known
before
for their
Dion.
their
Yeah,
name. They're more. Their Jackson State is known for the sonic boom of the South. That's what they're
Exactly.
known for. They're known for their band. So they needed someone to turn it to now. not only are you going to come see the band, but you're actually going to have a good team out there as well.
The product, yes, the product.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing, and I get what Tyrone is saying. That look, it's like me. My dream wife is Beyonce, but she ain't leaving Jay-Z right now, especially not for me because I'm broke as hell. So if I want to get Beyonce, I need to go out there and make it 10, 12 billion dollars. Now, do I want Beyonce to be with me because I got 10, 12 billion dollars, or do I want her to be with me because she just loves me? So right now, Mr. 411 wants people to go to the school just because of the flash and the whatever, and he'll take the love later on down the road.
I hear all that.
And
But Eddie George, we're talking about
that's
Eddie
the catch 22.
George.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that's
But
the
you-
catch 22. He's just trying to put
Yeah.
a face there to
Right.
get
Got
the
to.
people that won't look at the other
Right.
stuff,
And
like you're
I'm
saying.
and I'm okay with that. But again, at some point, substance is going to have to
Oh
matter.
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Or again,
But it's
we're
too
gonna-
soon. But it's
Have you-
early right now.
Okay,
I mean,
you take Ed Reed. Ed Reed should have one of those jobs.
He should be exactly.
I
He should have
mentioned his
gotten.
name-
To me,
I
he
mentioned
should
his
have
name
been
a few minutes ago.
right.
Yes,
I would
He
have
should have
had.
got the Grambling job.
Yep.
Yeah, and
But he's
and
a
guess
Miami
what?
guy. He probably ain't
No,
leaving Miami.
no. He's not.
But they have but Grambling
He's
now
a
has
New
an NFL.
Orleans guy.
Yeah. He's from
Yes.
New Orleans.
But
Yes,
but he's kind of in that Miami circle.
Yeah.
No, but he
still,
runs. He always
But
talking
there'll
about
still
the
be
boot. You see
right.
what I'm
But
saying?
there'll still be there'll be other opportunities. I mean, this is not the end of the book. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta go into our second hour here, and we can
Yes,
finish
we
this
do.
up and then jump into Dion, and then we'll jump into our predictions and everything on the second hour. So everybody get ready for that in a few minutes. But yeah, just to wrap this little part up right here, you put the face in there now. Eddie George can bring in some guys to help coach him. They brought in some talent. They're getting recruits. The facilities are upgrading right now. They're playing where the Tennessee Titans play. They're playing several home games there now. And eyes. As long as you got to start getting the eyes there, which may lead to some more dollars coming in, at least a little attention. So yeah, he may not be the prime ready coach, but there's a lot of programs that don't have, we can question coaching and so on and so forth. But at least for them at this level, maybe this is kind of move they need to make. As I said, Tennessee State reached out to him. And so we'll see how that all goes. But we're going to come back on the second hour and we'll talk Deion Sanders and then get our predictions in. So, man, this is great stuff right here, guys. We'll be back. We'll be back shortly. What's up, Corey?
T.
Yeah.
Are we backstage yet?
Not yet. We will be in a minute. I think you are. I think you are.
What I'm trying to
Calvin
do
is awesome. I just want to say this is a great Sunday morning. You're wonderful, Calvin. You're making my day so much better.
He's definitely.
Hey,
but,
you know what? Calvin reminds me of when I was a husband. Like he's got to have someone lead him all the way around. So.
No,
All
actually,
right,
what I'm trying to do is get the link to put the
yeah,
the link
we
to
got
the
you.
actual
We got
YouTube
you.
channel.
Oh my God!
Producers got you.
Thank you, Calvin.
All
All right,
guys.
fellas. See y'all shortly.
We'll be back. Be back in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Everybody
Do we
tune
have
in
to,
for hour.
you gonna,
Everybody tune in for hour number 2.
all right, email me. You gonna email the link